How's it going, Glob Squad? Again, I thought I'd make a follow-up video on yesterday's video on the Slam comp, going through specific examples of how on very specific maps we would carry this out. Now, there are a lot of maps that are better than others for doing this, so I think a good way to go about doing it is if we're ever queued together and we get a map that's particularly good for it to try it, and then kind of leave um, doing it for the more complicated maps to when we get the basics down. So the easiest it's ever going to get for us is on a 2CP map when we're defending A. So on all cases of that, there's a very good choke point where the team can only really go through one choke point and maybe a window, which is accessible by just a few people. So I'm going to show how we do it for Volskaya, then I'm also going to show it for all the other 2CP maps. It is possible to do it on point B, but it's harder to do it on point B, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then if I have time, I'll also go through the hybrid maps, which are close to the same in terms of point A. So I'll talk about all positions from of all the players in this from the perspective of Doomfist, so I don't have to go back and keep switching. But how we'll set up for point A is we'll have Doomfist up here on a perch. You can even protect yourself from any snipers here. Very good. And essentially the team can either go left or right. So Orisa is going to be down here, roughly, and she'll be ready to halt on the left or the right, whichever one she thinks is better for the combo. And at that point, Doomfist can just go out in the direction that she says, uppercut, and then get back. So that's the first combo. And then we'll do this a couple more times, and the goal is to not do anything in between, almost, to just kind of get ready for the next combo, because we only have 8 seconds before we can do it again, so we really need to focus on setting up the next thing once we've done the first thing, if that makes sense. So after we do left or right, they're going to be pushing onto point inevitably. So what we're going to do is give them space to literally step on the point, and they'll be set up for our next combo. So the next combo is going to be on the point with Orisa's halt, so Doomfist can, once again, get close to 100 damage on that uppercut, and then I would actually go here. It's probably a bit safer of a spot. And then all subsequent halts after this will just be directly on point, and you can continue to just kind of do that. So that's Doomfist's point of view. Let me talk about it from Orisa, Reinhardt, and Genji real quick. So Orisa obviously is going to do one of these two. As soon as she does that, she's going to back up to here before her next halt. So you can shoot a little bit, but make sure you're here before your next halt, and you're going to halt from in this room. Same with Reinhardt. Reinhardt's going to come in here and then fire strike from this angle. Now, after that, Orisa's going to climb up here, actually, just to be in a safer spot, and do the next halts from here. Whereas Reinhardt's going to stay and contest the point just by himself. Reinhardt's going to be the only person on the point, and then we'll do the rest of the halts in there. So lastly, Reinhardt's going to be here at the start, so he can fire strike either side. So is Genji, so he can dash either side. And Genji is just going to have to find a way to be safe in the meantime, using deflect to get out. And basically, Genji can kind of float around anywhere he wants as long as he can hit those halt locations. So that's Volskaya. I'm going to pause and move on to the next map. Okay, so here we are on Eichenwald. Once again, the concept is pretty simple. The team can only go through two real area, like two main choke points, which are pretty close to each other. And we're going to hit them once as they're coming through the choke. Then we're going to back up very safely, very quickly, don't expose ourselves to any sort of threats, and get ready to contest them on the point again if we don't get a significant number of kills on the first one. So Doomfist's position could probably just be here. Jumping and then going into slam is going to give you more than enough damage for the archway, and then you can also probably just modify it by like backing up. You can find a way to do it either place. Genji can utilize some sort of cover here to get his dash in, and Reinhardt and Orisa can easily be in their normal locations to go for this first halt. Now, backing up is going to be pretty important for this. So what I would suggest is Doomfist take either this back way or just punch all the way across. So after you're in, I would probably just punch all the way back here. And our next halt is going to be, from Marisa's point of view, right in here. So this is our first, that's our temporary safe zone, kind of like that Mega Health Pack in Volskaya. And she's going to poke out here. And if Doomfist can either take the stairs or just uppercut up here, this is a really good spot for 95 damage if you're up here. Once again, Genji floats around, is safe in the meantime, using Deflect to not die. Reinhardt is going to stay largely with Orisa until Orisa is going to rotate up to here after that second halt, and she's going to camp out here, possibly with any sort of supports. That's another thing. We can put Ana or Baptiste with her, and then Reinhardt's going to be the only one to contest. And we're going to do the rest of the halts from here. So that's Volskaya. Let's do quickly the last two maps. Alright, here we are on Hanamura. This is a very nice map to do this, actually. So for starters, when we start off the game, it might be worthwhile to try this position with Doomfist to simply, slam down here, if you so choose. But honestly, any position really works. So tanks can even be around rock, because what we're trying to do is bait them right through the choke into this position rather than like in the choke here. Because if they're here, they could easily, if they see something coming, they can duck around corner. You kind of want to let them get into the point of no return and then jump on them. So one thing you can do is kind of stack almost everyone behind the rock. Doomfist can easily jump off the rock to get 66 damage, or honestly, being up on stairs here is good. Doomfist doesn't even need to be on high ground, to be honest. He can just jump and get like enough damage to exceed 50. So basically we're stacking here, and this is the kill zone. Now, when that doesn't work, if it doesn't, we're going to back up. And honestly, one of these two pockets is probably the best. I've seen this used more. This is more protected. So backing up just to here, and having, once again, Reinhardt be on point. This map doesn't have that middle ground, that kind of mega health pack thing for a, like I was talking about before, but we can honestly just throw in halts from here, have enough damage. Even if Doomfist wants to get up here, I might give him a bit more height, but it's whatever we want to do. So that's Volskaya, or not Volskaya, Hanamura. So looking at this 2CP, Horizon Loser Colony, it's not as easy to pull this off, so we might not even try, but that choke is kind of here. It's more open, and people can be more spread out, but what I would go for is once they reach this kill box, anywhere in this position, Orisa and Ryan can probably just be up there and do their part, and then Doomfist can probably be here, do a lot of damage, and Genji can obviously float around. But then, once that goes off, we're going to really want to get back as far as we can. So that's the big thing. We want to give up ground, and that's going to sound weird because it seems natural to want to fight and not, let people even step on point. But really, this combo only works if we all do it. Everyone's cooldowns are roughly the same. They're around 8 seconds. So you really can't use your abilities for anything other than the combo. So you might as well just use that downtime to get back and play around here, maybe, and just go for the combos on point. But once again, this point is a bit more difficult. Alright, here's the last of the 2CP maps. This one is probably going to be the best for it, because this choke is very interesting, where there is a second route, but it requires you going through the first route at least a little bit. So we know that there's no way you can get past this point unless you were to teleport or jump over it. without hitting this square right here. So this is obviously going to be our kill zone for the first thing. But after that, assuming we don't get any kills, you need to get back into this room as soon as possible, before your cooldowns at least. And wait in here for your next launch, and we'll do the second one on point, because you know they're going to be on point. Go for a bunch of damage here, uppercut, and out. This Mega is very helpful to us. This is a really good room for holding in general. Once again, Reinhardt's the only one on point. Now I'm going to see if I can go through and find any similar things on the hybrid maps. However, they don't have as good of chokes for defending. Alright, here's an example of a really great hybrid map that does have a good option for this. So King's Row has essentially one choke. There are other good alternatives, but people don't often use them. Now, it would make sense for Doomfist to use this as his perch spot, but I actually found an interesting interaction here. So he can get 50 or so damage, but that path is so direct that he's not actually maxing out his damage as much as he can if he were to be over here, and he can get 63 and still hit this entire area and pivot to wherever is needed. So I would suggest being here. It's also a bit of a safer spot. But yeah, once again, right as they come through the choke is the first one, and then Doomfist is going to do this following rollout. And get around here, and you're going to start making your way back to Archway, along with the rest of the team, except for Reinhardt, who's going to big toe the back of the point here. And from here, you can just get your 63 onto the middle of the point, roughly. And you just keep doing it from there. One more thing I want to reiterate. I know I'm being repetitive, and it's probably annoying at this point, but in between the cooldown times, there is no need to poke out and start taking damage and trying to chip people down. We're going for a burst combo, which doesn't need people to be chipped down at all. So in between the halts, we could all just be here. Like, it doesn't matter. And if people want to come and contest us, we could take the easy 6v1, but while we're on cooldown, be here. Once our cooldowns are starting to come up, we poke around, we go for it, we get back out and hide. There's no need to do anything else. Anyway, I think those are all the maps I want to do. Those 5 control point, the 2 CP maps, plus King's Row. The other hybrids I was looking, they're a bit weird in terms of following up after your first combo. So if we get any of these maps on defense, I would be highly interested in doing this. It seems pretty straightforward. All we have to do is practice one thing and get very good at it, and we get free kills. So with that in mind, yeah, I'm going to end the video. Goodbye.